I was digging through Earnings Hub, and we have this view in Earnings Hub where we show the annual returns for a stock, which is
Mm.
pretty cool to see. And every once in a while, you can kind of spot a pattern. And I'm looking at Micron's uh, data, and I'm like, I don't know, this looks pretty cyclical. So let me show you this.
Okay.
I know we've been saying it's not cyclical, but like since 2015, every 4 years, the stock is down,
There's a down year.
which is kind of incredible.
Wait, 2026 down 6%. What?
Yeah.
That can't be right. I
Oh,
mean, that looks like every 4 years it's down some, but
oh, you know
yeah.
what? You're right. This is why I don't like doing a live show, because sometimes I mess things up and
Okay.
there's no going back. But yeah, I think you're right. This is not Micron's data. But wait,
Okay.
so then who is this? Oh, this is
Oh,
Meta.
Meta.
This is Meta.
Okay,
Okay.
that was cute. It
Oh,
was funny that you have it prepared Meta headline
I
instead of the Micron
oh,
headline.
it keeps going. So that's
Okay.
interesting. So I don't really hear many people talk about Meta
Meta
being
being
cyclical,
cyclical.
but since 2015, over the last decade, it's had, 3 green years and then a red year. But here, let's
Oh, how
let's compare it
funny.
to Micron here.
Okay.
Oh wait,
Uh,
Micron's still
Wait, that's not
cyclical.
Micron either.
Oh,
Okay, what other stock is
as
this?
as
So
Britney Spears once famously said, "Oops, I did it again." Okay, now we have
that's Google.
Google.
Okay.
So you could see now this 2026 clearly should be a red year, not investment advice. I don't necessarily believe it's going to be a red year, but you could see it's the same pattern as Meta. Funny enough, where it's a red
Yeah.
year and then 3 green years. And now this is actually Micron's data. As you can see,
Stock
at
price.
least from a price perspective, there's not really much of a pattern. Some years it's red, some years it's green. This is going back to 2007 for Micron.
Yeah.
Um, but I just thought this was interesting because, and I know that a lot of the conversation is not necessarily about the price move, and it's about the revenue being cyclical.
That's what I was just
But
about to say.
yeah, but no one ever talks about how Meta and Google happen to be fairly cyclical, because it's
The,
arguably a silly
yeah.
argument.
You know what's funny is that one of the best and worst capabilities of humans is pattern recognition. And unfortunately or fortunately, we see pattern recognition, like we use our pattern recognition abilities everywhere. And so with respect to Micron, we've noticed that, oh, look, their revenues go up, and then they kind of go down a little bit and then they go back up to the same levels. And that has happened at least 3 times in the past, and therefore it's going to always continue to happen, and therefore it's cyclical and da da da. Similarly, we're like, oh, for the past 3 years or whatever it's been, Rivian keeps going down to like $12 a share, going up to $20 a share, back down to $12 a share. And we think that, okay, because it has done that for the past 3 years, if it hits 20, sell, and if it goes to 12, buy. And, like it's as simple as that. And it turns out that it's not that simple. At some point, breakouts happen and changes happen, and the reality is all in the details, right? Like what has happened for Micron to suddenly have um, this massive revenue increase over the past couple of years uh, that is kind of unprecedented in any company ever in history. And to try to still pigeonhole it into this pattern that you saw for the previous 15, 20 years or whatever it is kind of weird, right? Like, so something has definitely changed. And that change means that you have to adjust your pattern recognition ability and be able to accommodate a new shift that is happening. Um, that new shift, of course, is AI. Now, that doesn't mean that a new type of stability or potentially pattern again doesn't reemerge, but it's certainly not going to reemerge at previous levels just because um, so much has changed, and it does not seem like we're at the sort of tail end of the AI boom or growth, or at least from a usage standpoint. Um, Company revenues and uh, um, semiconductor aside, from a usage standpoint, it doesn't seem like we're at the end of AI, meaning like this is not the maximum usage of AI that's ever going to happen. If we were to fast forward 10 years, virtually guaranteed, unless again we've had some major wars or some events that are extremely catastrophic, there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands of times more AI usage 10 years from now than there are today. Just because it'll be like literally prevalent in everything, in every device, in everything that has hardware in it, that has any kind of computing power is going to have AI in it. Because who wants a dumb machine? Nobody wants a dumb machine that has microprocessors in it. Um, so that usage is going to continue to grow. And what does that mean for semiconductor industry? We don't know, but the people who are in it think that the demand is nowhere near capped, and it's not even remotely close to sort of like being finished. And therefore, you know, I am just as excited about Micron. So Micron crushed its revenue targets and guidance for last quarter. It raised its guidance for this quarter. These are the things that have changed in the past month. That it was expecting 40 billion in revenue this quarter. Now it has raised to 50 billion. What has changed since their announcement, since their quarterly report? Other than that, and the fact that they're going to have way more profits, they were expecting profits of $24 per share, if I'm not mistaken, this quarter. They've raised that to over $30. And analysts have raised it to even more than $31. And they're guiding even higher for the next quarter, besides this quarter. So these are the things that have changed. What has the stock price done? The stock price is down 25%. Now you can pick up Micron at a future or a forward PE over the course of the next year that is estimated to be under 7. So a forward PE of 7 means they're going to make 1/7 of their entire market cap in profits over the course of the next year, right? That's just a great potential company to own in my view. And that's why I haven't sold a single share since their earnings report. And at these prices, I don't intend to sell any as well. So it continues to be exciting for me.
Thing, I like to buy when stocks really drop. So even though it's at over $900 a share, there is a chance I actually buy more Micron here, which is exactly what I did with my first purchase when I think it dropped maybe like 28%. I could be wrong with that, but roughly 28%. And then I bought around $350. So I might do the same thing here.
After Q1 report.
Yeah. And yeah, I totally agree with you. Like these patterns often are real and there's underlying reasoning behind them. But if you take a step back and you question, well, is there a reason why this pattern might break? Yeah, there's a real reason. And as long as you believe that AI use is going up and not going down in the future, Micron has a pretty safe place here. So yeah, I just thought it was a fun way of looking at things and putting things into perspective. This isn't the dip for Micron, but this is certainly a dip for Micron. And when I first bought Micron shares, I did this post kind of showing how Nvidia had several fairly large drawdowns on its way up. And I'm not saying Micron is going to be as astronomical of a move as Nvidia, but it has certainly been very volatile, and these volatile stocks tend to have these volatile moves on the way up. So it is very common to drop over 20% every once in a while and still be in the bull run. So I view it as a dip. Yeah.
Show that again and read it so that for people who are listening, that they can get a sense as to what you're talking about. Nvidia's drawdowns were as much as 22% in September, October of 23. Then again in 24, another 22% in March to April. Then in 24 again in June to August was down 35%. January to April of 2024, it was down 43%. And October of 25 to today, it's down 21%. So
And
those
by
are
today,
huge.
that was March 30th, the post.
Okay, and yet the stock is up 1,300% over that same time span. So lots of huge drawdowns, yet the stock is up pretty substantially. And that's an important thing to keep in mind, is that the market does not go in a smooth trajectory ever. So, despite so there's a lot of noise basically that you have to ignore as an investor.
And that's another thing, where like sometimes I'll see people say like, "Oh, your year to date performance is like no good." And it's like, well,
Right.
sure, but I'm not investing for my year to date performance to be incredible. I'm investing so my future self has incredible performance, and this is just like one of the many downturns or whatever that I'm
Right.
going to have. But I'm always investing for tomorrow, not for today.
Do either of you plan to pick up some SK Hynix shares on Friday? They trade at a lower forward PE than Micron, if not mistaken. This could add downwards pressure on Micron stock if people rotate out. Another person also asked what you think about the IPO on Friday.
It's SK Hynix, if I'm not mistaken, but I am not interested. I would I'm personally focused on US based companies, and they're both in the same business, Micron and SK Hynix. They make this similar sort of chips. I know Micron's business a lot better because I have had and dived through their sort of like financial details and like vetted their CEO and listened to all their calls and interviews and so on and so forth. So I'm not interested to look at another company that is South Korean based that I would want to invest in addition to Micron, both of whom have similar risks and sort of move up and down in a similar fashion. And I wouldn't want to like sell my American based company in order to buy a South Korean based company. So that's my thought on it. What are your thoughts, Dustin?
I agree, and we've talked about this before. I'm not interested in holding two stocks that are too similar. So if I were to buy SK Hynix, I would be selling Micron, which I'm not interested in doing. In terms of forward PE, I'm not sure how much the IPO is going to move the stock price. So that may be true today. It might not be true on Friday after the IPO. But I do think there is a real concern that Micron's share price could potentially have some downward pressure because of this IPO. It's similar to what we've maybe seen with Rocket Lab. I say maybe because you never really know, but the stock price is down after the SpaceX IPO. Presumably, some of that came from Rocket Lab shareholders selling to buy some SpaceX. So I do think that is a real, not necessarily a concern, but something to definitely look out for, especially while we're already in a bit of a downturn. And by the way, this could be one of the reasons why Micron is currently dipping, is people are expecting this. So it's going down, and this is a reverse buy the rumor, sell the news. This is sell the news, buy the rumor, where people will be buying, after this. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
If you enjoyed this clip, consider subscribing to the Buy Hold Rant podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. New episodes are released every Wednesday, and you can watch them live on YouTube.